Hey y'all, it's Christy Cook from Teadoddles. Today I am going to go over the different bag sizes and styles that I sell in my Etsy shop. I've had some questions about that, about the prices and the sizes and things like that. So I have several different kinds to show you that I typically make. Now there are some that vary that I will talk about after this one, after I list the ones that I have standards for, and that I have index cards with the different kinds and the name of them and the sizes that I would typically cut for them. So the sizes I'll give you are finished bag sizes, and it's the outside of the bag. It's not really easy to measure the inside of a bag after you make it. So if it's quilted or something, it'll be slightly smaller on the inside, but not by that much. Okay, so I'm gonna have some water today, y'all. So I am filming this on a Friday, right before I go to school. So I do have my hair fixed, even though it looks like super frizzy. I have makeup on and big bags. Anyway, there's a reason for that. I'll talk about that in my podcast. But I'm going to do this first, and I will also have a PDF linked down below that I'm putting on my website, where you can download it and you'll have a list of my standard prices. Okay. So let's just get started looking at some bags. And some of these are bags that I personally use. I do use my bags. Most of the time, the bags I make that I keep are what I call prototypes when I'm trying to figure out a bag style. And then sometimes something doesn't work out exactly right with the bag for some reason, and then I won't put it in the shop because I'm a little bit picky about that. So, all right. Oh, before we start about the bags, I wanted to talk about my shirt. This shirt, I made this shirt. I actually got the pattern from, I think it's called Tuesday Stitches now, because it was something different when I actually tested the pattern. It is I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but okay. It's a short kind of shirt with a scalloped edge. You can probably see that a little bit. I got to get back in my chair, right? There. So much easier with my new chair. So I think. Okay, there we go. And it's a really neat little pattern, little t-shirt pattern. So I'll put a link down below for that too, and y'all can check that out if you want to. All right, let's get into the bags. So I'm going to go down the list and start. The very first one I'm going to talk about is my mini maker bag. This one is currently for sale in the shop. I sell these for $8. They are fully lined, and this one has a stamped logo instead of a sewn in tag. It also has a little ribbon tab in there for you to hang stuff in. Some people use it as a yarn guide. Whatever, I just like adding them in for fun. It is a drawstring bag. It is fully lined, but it does not have any batting or anything in it. But it stands up by itself fairly well, even not being, there's no interfacing or batting or anything in these bags. Just a fully fabric lined little bag. Now, the size of these is about 5.5 by 5.5 inch box bottom, about 4 inches tall. I think this one may be a little bit taller. Let me see right here. Yeah, I think this one's about 5 inches tall. They do vary a little bit, because when I get a yard of fabric, I know that I can cut one zippered maker bag, one drawstring maker bag, a zippered pouch, and a mini maker pouch. And occasionally there's a variance in the fabric that causes these to be slightly different for some reason. But most of the time, that's about the average size. About 5.5 by 5.5 by 4. Sometimes a little bit taller. But I always put the measurement on the site. I need something to hold down my paper. It doesn't want to stay in its place. So now these are the perfect size bags for a, if you fluff them out, this is what I do when I'm doing the lining. When you get the bag, it's going to be folded up. Stick your hands in there, fluff it out like that, and usually you can get it to stand up by itself. These, you can't see that down there, but it is standing up by itself. I can't do it on my hand because it won't stand up on my hand. My hand's not, oh, well, no, it's not going to do it. Okay, so because of the size, they typically, as long as you fluff them out like that, they'll stand up by themselves. And it's the perfect size for socks, knitting or crocheting socks. Your hooks and needles will fit in the bag with your project. Amigurumi, especially smaller amigurumi, you can fit your parts in there. And then a lot of people like to use them to hold cakes. There we go. That is a caked up skein of Karen Simply Soft, and like an autumn colorway or something. Hold on, y'all. Find something to hold this page down. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, so you can stick your cake in there right like that, and it will stand up just fine. You can even close it, and most of them, the new ones I have, the sides stick out a little bit, so you can pull your yarn right through there. You can pull it through the center if you want, but this right here is a little looser if you want to keep the bag closed while you're working on it. So, and that's with a caked skein of Karen Simply Soft in there, a number 4 weight yarn. So that is the mini maker bag. Like I said, these run $8 on my Etsy shop, and that one is for sale in there. All right, next I'm going to talk about what I call the maker pouch. I call all of these maker bags, they all have maker in the name, because I intend them to be used by not only knitters and crocheters, but by anybody who likes to make things. I do display them sometimes with sewing things in them, or even I've had some people who can put their sketching notepad in some of my larger bags. So I intend these to be for all makers, and that's why I call them maker bags. Okay, so now my zippered maker pouch comes in 2 different forms. Okay, you can kind of see that they're about the same size whether I do it flat or do a box bottom. Okay, these are, the flat one is 8 by 9.5 typically, and the boxed one is, it has a 6 by 4 box bottom, and it's 5 inch tall, 9 inch wide at the top, and that's a typical kind of size. Like I said, it's kind of like this, maybe a little different, but I box the bottom. Some people like it flat, some people like it box bottom. So these are all zippered, and they always come with a charm on the zipper. On the inside, this bag does not have a tab on the inside, but usually I put a tab on the inside of my pouches too. This one doesn't have one, y'all, but it's just, these are quilted on the outside. You can see the quilting, so it does have batting. Like I said, it always has a zipper pull with a 12mm lobster clasp on it. This one has scissors on it. It's also quilted, as you can see. This is actually a quilting fabric themed comic strip on here. So let's look at the inside of this one. This one doesn't have the tab. I typically put them in the side, especially when I have a zipper, because it can interfere with the zipper when I try to put it across the top. So those are my typical sizes of maker pouches. These are $12 in the shop, because I quilt them and they have the zipper which is more time consuming than just the fabric bag. Now, occasionally, I have a lot of them in the shop right now that are called Makers leftover pouches. And that's, when I have like bigger scraps, I make different kinds of zippy pouches with them. And they're not always the same size as what I do standard. So I put them in the Makers leftover pouches. And those prices vary depending on the size of them. And a matter of fact, I think this is under Makers leftovers because it was technically leftover. It just wound up being the size that I typically have for pouches. So, and then I have some that are slightly smaller with this print on it too. So these two are for sale in the shop currently. All right. Need some water. Let's talking. Okay. So next we'll talk about, this is probably the one that is the most popular size in the shop. It's between that and the mini maker. But I have two that I just call a maker bag. There is a zipped version and there is a drawstring version, okay? This is the drawstring version, which I currently have a project in. The drawstring version is much like the mini maker bag. There is no lining, or no, there's fabric lining, but there's no interfacing or batting in it. It is $20. It is a 10 by 6 boxed bottom, and it is about, with the drawstring casing that goes up above it, it's about 10 to 11 inches tall. Now, in this one, I currently have a knitting project, which is my knitted sweater. These do come with, I'm trying to move this out of the way, a pocket along the whole side. I'm going to have to take this out so y'all can see that. Okay, so there's a pocket that runs along the whole side. It's divided up. There's 3 smaller ones in the center, which you can put a crochet hook in, a pencil in. In this project, I have my knitting needles stuck down in there when I'm not working on it, because I have cabled needles. And then it has 2 pockets on each side of that, which are about, I designed them to fit my cell phone case, but it depends on if you have I designed it to fit my cell phone, but I don't have a case on my cell phone. So I know some people have big cases, so I don't know. But then there's one on the other side that's about the same size. It's a little bit smaller because it's in the seam, but it runs across that whole side. There is a tab, a ribbon tab at the top. Now the new ones have a D-ring on this ribbon tab. I started adding D-rings to the bigger bags to make it easier to clip on stitch markers and things like that. So that's a new addition. This one is the one I was making before with just the tab. I've now shortened this a little bit and added a D-ring to the bottom. So, and this is drawstring pulls from both sides. And as I said, this one has, I have a knitted sweater in here. I have one half that I've finished, and then this one is the second half. I'm probably about halfway done with the second half, and this skein of yarn. I wasn't able to put all the yarn for this sweater in here because these are big skeins of yarn. So, but I have that skein, the one half, the half of the sweater in progress, and the other half that's finished in this bag, and it closes just fine. These don't have any handles or anything because I feel like this kind of makes a handle when you pick it up. It's actually long enough you could probably put that over your arm if you wanted to. So something I wanted to say about these ends, you can see my ends are looking a little rough, okay? On these, I trim all that up before I send it out, but as you use it, it's going to fray a little bit more. And all you have to do is just clip that off with some scissors, because this is 100% cotton twill tape, so it's just going to do that. It will not fray past this knot, and it should be perfectly fine once it finishes I try to get all that out. I don't think I've actually pulled all this one out because it was staying with me. So most of the time I pull them out and they look kind of fluffy. But if it ever does this, you just trim that off. It's you can't really. Some people use the nylon ribbon or cording in the drawstring, and you can take a little match and burn the end of that, and it's not going to fray because it's a man-made fiber, whereas this is a cotton fiber. So, but that is the drawstring version. Now this is the zippered version. The body of the bag is exactly the same size. Like I said, this one is slightly taller only because I add that drawstring thing. And these are 20, these are 30 because this is dusty. But I quilt the outside, it has batting in it. These do come with a handle, which is usually, sometimes I put these gross grain ribbons on them, but a lot of times I put the natural colored webbing. Actually, I have a piece right there, like this. This is what I typically put on the side, is this natural colored webbing, because it's durable. These have a zipper. These do come with a maker charm when you buy them. I didn't put one on mine, but I could find one to put on there. And it does have the 16mm lobster clasp, so it's a bigger clasp. And then these also have the pocket that runs along the whole side there, which I probably should have my crochet hook in, so I don't know where it's at. But I have about, what is that, 6, one of them's almost empty though. So there's 5 full skeins of Ombre Life, which is the number 2 yarn in there. And then this is another, it's a crocheted top in progress. So I have all that in there, and it zips up just fine. And then you can tote it around like this. So this one and these two are the same size. They just vary because this has just a drawstring basic top, no interfacing, and this one is quilted. It has a zipper and it has a handle, and it comes with a charm. So this one's 30 and this one is 20. So that is the maker bag. Okay, and move this over here out of my way. Now let's move on to the maker tote. Okay, I have one in the shop currently. I had 3 more to go in the shop, but they've already been spoken for before I could finish them, but there are more coming. So the maker tote it has an 8x5 box bottom, and it's 11 inches tall, and it has a 12-inch drop approximately on the handles. Okay, it's a little bit smaller than this, still holds a lot, so you can see it's definitely smaller than this, but it has handles, and I always use some sort of interior fabric or a heavy weight fabric on the bottom and the handles, and then these patches are all quilted. You can see the quilting a little bit. And then this is an older one, so but it still has the pocket that runs along the whole side. I do still have the 3 slots, and then it's divided the same fairly much. And then it has a ribbon tab at the top, which I'm adding a D-ring to these as well. The newer ones will have the D-ring at the top. So this has no closure at the top, but it does have the handles, and it's just a nice little thing to take to stick down in there. I do currently have, this one is in the shop, and I have well this one like this with the quilted and the heavyweight fabric, so it's $25. Now I have a few that are called a Maker Market tote. It's the exact same size. They just have basic handles like made out of this webbing, and it's an all canvas outside, and it's like a poly lining fabric on the inside. There's no pockets in it whatsoever. I intended it to be for like if you're going to the market or something and you just need a reusable bag. That's what it's for. Those are only $15. I think I have 2 of them left in the shop, and I may be doing more I don't know. We'll see. I don't have any of those cut out currently for that, but the Quilted Maker tote is $25 in the shop. Okay, and then I also have this one that I made a long time ago, which is fully just, this ribbon came off, you know, when you get blankets and sometimes they have ribbons around it. That's what this is, recycled ribbon. And then I just used what's called charm squares. That's what that is, 5x5 squares. And this pattern is actually on my blog to make a tote like this. This doesn't have pockets in it or anything. It's just a basic little tote that I did quilt. So, all right, now what are we on to now? Okay, so 2 bags that you may have not seen at all in my shop because I don't make them as often as the other bags. I am planning to have more in the shop for the rest of the year. It's just because they take longer to make because they're bigger bags. These are my biggest bags. The first one is that has never been in the shop actually. I will have some coming in the shop, but it's called my Traveling Maker Tote. Okay, so this is it. This is some denim that I bleached. I will show you a blog post about bleaching it. It does come with, these come with a metal zipper. The zippered Maker Tote comes with just a nylon zipper. These come with a metal zipper. It does come with a charm. This is my charm that I bought from Mama Kayla. It's a little cupcake. So, and this particular bag, this was my prototype bag. It has very long handles, right? I designed this because I wanted to be able to wear it like this, okay? It is 22 inches long. Now, my typical one that I'm going to put in the shop will be a 12-inch drop like this. So it'll be more like that, and it'll still be able to go over your arm, but it's not designed to be worn over your, you know, looped over. So what I'll do is, if you want the 22-inch strap, it'll be a little bit of an upcharge, maybe like $2 or something more than my standard price. But the ones that I'll put in the shop will have the standard 12-inch drop handle. Okay, so this bag is quilted on the outside. Let's see that. You can see the stitching, some of the stitching here. Kind of followed some of the lines of the bleaching material. So this bag is called the Traveling Maker bag because it is intended for people who like, well, it can be used as an everyday pocketbook. You can stick smaller project bags in it along with your other essentials, and especially like if you're going to a maker event of some kind and you want to maybe purchasing new yarn or fabric or something, you can tuck it down in here. So that's why I call it the Traveling Maker Tote. And these, I haven't told the size yet, have I? Okay, these are $60, okay? They are a 14 by 6 inch boxed bottom, and they are 19 inches tall, okay? Like I said, the standard one will have a 12-inch drop handle. You can upgrade probably for $2 more to a 22-inch drop handle if you'd like that. So this one has got another sweater in progress. I got a lot of sweaters in progress. I need to finish on it before it actually, we have some cooler weather maybe. But it has pockets that go along the whole side again. You get a little more room in this because it's so wide. Like I said, it's 14 inches. No, that's the box bottom. So it's more like 17 or 16 or 17 at the top. So you get that pocket along all that side. It does have a ribbon in it. Now that's a book ring I've put on there, which is what made me decide to put the D-ring. So this will have a D-ring on the little ribbon as well. And then on the other side, you also get an inset zipper that is also metal. And I like to put contrasting fabric in there, of course. So that is why this one is $60. It is fully quilted on the outside, and I always make them typically out of a heavy duty material. And then I've had some people request one with a cotton fabric that I would quilt it, and then the bottom would be a heavy duty material. It just stands up a little better. And then I usually have some kind of contrast up here at the top by the zipper, and there you go. That is a very large bag, but it is also designed to be for you to tote around every day if you like. So, and that's called the Traveling Maker bag. Now, the last one I'm gonna show you is the biggest bag I make. It's called the Mega Maker bag. Okay, this is one of my prototypes. I don't have one that has every feature that I have currently on it, because I have all sold. But the body of it, minus this extension portion, is the same size as the Traveling Maker bag. It has a 14x6 box bottom. It's 19 inches tall from here to here, and then this is a 6-inch addition on it. Okay, that is made out of a lighter weight fabric, so you can use the drawstring. And now this comes with a cotton corded drawstring because it's a heavier bag and fabric. This is designed to hold a whole Afghan quantity of yarn, so it's a very big bag. You can fold this down just like that. These set up fairly well, depending on what material I make it out of. And I do this one, I didn't do that. Now this on the outside is a velveteen upholstery fabric, and I didn't put any batting in here, but I put batting in all of them now just to give it more stability. And I usually quilt the interior fabric. Sometimes I do the outside. It depends on what it's made out of. So again, this bag is only going to have a small pocket, right? But it will have the full pocket, just like the Traveling Maker bag does. Full pockets across the side. It will have the ribbon tab with a D-ring. Now it does not have any other pockets, but it is a huge bag. I have all my Shepja's minis in here that I'm working on making a blanket out of. Now I got fuzz. Okay, so and I also have, this one doesn't have it, but I have added a handle made out of this webbing that goes from the bottom to the upper part of this bag, like a tote handle kind of thing, like a duffel bag kind of thing. That's kind of what it would be. So this is the biggest bag I make. This is called the Mega Maker bag. You can fit lots of stuff in here, and like I said, it doesn't have the handle now that will run from here to here, and the full pocket in it. This is the prototype I did when I first started designing them. This bag is $50. Like I said, it's the biggest. It's the biggest. That's why it's called the Mega Maker. So big. It's a little bit heavy, so I'm gonna put it down. All right. So those are the standard bags that I make, and you can kind of get an idea, I suppose, of what they can hold. I had some projects in them. The zipper bags are great for hooks and knitting needles, not the very long metal needles, but like the cabled needles and shorter needles. They will fit in here. You can fit scissors in here. The little tab is good to hold. I like to use a little mini book ring and keep my stitch markers on it so they don't fall around. Occasionally I will make some smaller zipper pouch. I used to make a called Take a Notion pouch. I've got to redesign that because it had a curved zipper in it, and that is very time consuming, and I decided I don't want to do that anymore, so I've got to redesign that. So it's just a small one that I'll be working on. I don't know if I'll get any out before the end of the year because it's I'm trying to get stuff made to go through the rest of the year, and pattern design right now is not a priority. Now, sometimes you will see, I have some water. Sometimes you will see what I call a maker bag extra. Remember, this is the drawstring maker bag. It's got a pocket in it. Sometimes I find a cute panel, and I will make a drawstring bag out of it with the pockets, and it's bigger than the standard maker bag, but I still only charge $20 for it, because typically it's a panel that I got a super deal on, and I'm using like fabrics that I have big leftover pieces of and stuff like that. So you'll see those in there. There are a few coming currently because I found a bunch of cute panels, so they will be coming up. I showed them in one of my other podcasts. I've already talked about the Makers leftover pouches. They're zippered like this, and the prices will vary and the sizes vary, depending on what leftovers I have. Now, I don't have one to show you currently because I don't have them finished, and I don't have any that they're all gone out of the shop. At one time I made something that I called a small maker bag. It was the same width as this. The bottom was exactly the same. It was about half as tall. Okay? Because I made it out of fat quarters. And I didn't like the way it was designed or anything, so I am going to be bringing some of them back because I had some cut out of Halloween fabric from last year, but I'm adding the band at the top for the drawstring, and I think I'm just going to call it a maker shorty instead of a small maker because it's kind of long, but it could be opened up very wide, right? So it's long and short. So I'm going to call it a maker shorty. So there will be some of those, but in Halloween fabrics coming, because I already had them cut out. I'm still working on a design for a small maker bag, which is in between my mini and my maker bag. So, but those will be coming, and they will be $12. Let's see, is there anything else? No. And then, you know, I make the maker charms is what I call them. I make them with the lobster clasp. I make them on the earring back, which means you could buy two and wear them as earrings if you wanted to. I like the earring back. I got the round ones for thicker yarns. And I like the lobster clasp for thinner yarns. So I do sell those. Sometimes I sell them in sets. Sometimes I sell them separately. Like I said, all of my zipper bags come with a maker charm. And then, let's see, I will have a maker, I'm going to have some earrings and what I'm just calling zipper pulls because I had some longer charms. They were longer than I expected. That will be coming up as well. So, those are all the bags that I typically make, and the prices and the sizes. I'm going to be linking to a PDF that I'm putting on my website so you can print it out and have them all in front of you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will happily answer them. Now, I do take what I call special orders. If you see, my dog is making funky noises. If you see a fabric that I show in one of my podcasts or something, and you're like, I really want this kind of bag with that fabric, you can send me an email with the email down below, or send me a message through Etsy, please. If you tell me in the comments, or if you send me an Instagram message, I don't always remember them when I go back to search for the special orders I have. I try to take note of them as I get them in, but sometimes I miss things, so I have to search for them. It's harder to find. Instagram messages aren't too bad. As if I remember who it was, I can look through my messages and see, you know, what it is. But it's just easier for me to keep up with if it's a conversation in Etsy or an email. I do not currently take custom orders, as in you would tell me, hey, I really want a bag out of this fabric that I don't have in stock. I may start doing that after the first of the year. I've got to really look and see how that would affect me getting things done, okay? So currently I don't take anything like that. I do take, like, I have several right now actually, where someone saw some fabric that I showed and it's like, hey, I really want this kind of bag with that fabric, and I will do that, unless it's something that I can't make, because I think I had someone ask for a patchwork mini maker, and I don't do that because this is unlined, and that just really is a lot more seam work, and it actually would probably stand up better with the patchwork, but it's more work than I'm willing to put into the mini maker bag. Let's put it that way for the price point. Now, and I also don't do it on the drawstring maker, but I am going to be working on a drawstring maker that has a quilted bottom. It would be similar to this, how we have this bigger band at the top, that's drawstring, and then a more sturdy thing at the bottom. So I'm going to be working on a pattern or making those. They will be more than the $20 that this is. So, but like I said, that probably won't come out till next year because I don't have time to work on new patterns right now. I have ideas that I take note of, and then in the beginning of the year, I'm going to take, like I said, 3 weeks off at the end of the year, and hopefully in the beginning I'll have some new things to show y'all, because I want to do that. I want to work on a small maker bag size, and I've been working on a fold up kind of pouch thing that opens up, that you could put like all your pencils and markers in, or crochet hooks and knitting needles and notions and stuff all into that. But I haven't had a chance to work on that. I have to work out. I'll design something on paper, but then when I put it together, you know, I may have to change something. So it's a process. So that's something else I'm working on. And I think I may work on some longer kind of pouches for the longer knitting needles. I know some people like to use those. I don't like to use them. That's probably why it took me so long to learn to knit, because I was using those needles. But some people prefer those needles. So just like a longer sort of pouch or something that would hold those bigger needles. So that's where I'm at right now. Like I said, if you have any questions about the bags and things I showed you, just let me know down in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. I do have a podcast that will be coming out hopefully on Saturday, because I'm recording everything early, and then I'm going to go take advantage of my dad's super fast internet, because it uploads so much faster at his house than it does at my house. So, and he and I will be he's going to help me out this weekend with some of my bag making. So that's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So I will talk to y'all later, and I hope y'all are heading into a wonderful weekend. And don't forget to have a life lived creatively. Bye.